Good evening. Welcome to worship here at Prince of Peace, our Good Friday Tenebrae Service of Darkness. Why do we call it Good Friday? What's good about it? I mean, crucifixion is nasty business. Wouldn't it be better to call it Awful Friday? Or Horrific Friday? Or Gruesome Friday? But we call it good. We call it good because it's not the end of the story. We call it good because of what God's doing behind the scenes in and through this horrific act of Jesus dying on the cross to make peace between us and Him. Indeed, by Jesus' wounds, we're healed. Good indeed. This is not the end of our journey, and so I'd like to invite you to stick around after this service. We have a prayer walk that's a self-guided meditation, an interactive thing, and so you can take part in that starting down by the church office and everything, okay? And so there's an opportunity to start on that, a map available for you to pick up. Also, tomorrow night we'll have worship here at Prince of Peace at 5 o'clock. This is not yet Easter full-on celebration. This is an Easter vigil, a quieter, more somber, toned-back reflection on the significance of our baptism and how that unites us with Christ. Okay? And then finally on Easter Sunday, we have services at 8 and 9:30. Those are traditional services with choir and brass, and then at 11 o'clock, contemporary worship with the praise band. And during that time period, also from 7 till 10:30, we are serving free of charge the world-famous Prince of Peace Men's Easter Breakfast. And so invite you all to take part in that. Now, we expect that peak kind of volume in terms of people traffic is going to be between about 9:30 and 10:30, okay? And so if you don't have plans or particular preferences, invite you to consider coming with your family and those you've invited either at 8 or at 11, okay? If you've already made plans, come as you've planned and we will accommodate, but just a way to serve one another as we go into this high volume Sunday, excitement, celebration. But for now, it's just Good Friday. And so we begin our worship as we worship our God of love with our gifts of love, our offering, and we sing.
I come to the Jerusalem, Jesus went into the temple courts and began driving out those who were buying and selling there. He overturned the benches of the money changers and the benches of the doves, and he would not allow anyone to carry any merchandise through the courts. And as he began teaching them, he said, "Is it not written, 'My house shall be a house of prayer for the nations'? But you have made it a den of robbers." The chief priests and the teachers of the law heard this and began looking for a way to kill him, because they feared him, since the crowd was amazed at his teaching.
O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, or discipline me in your wrath. Be merciful to me, Lord, for I am faint. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are in agony. My soul is in anguish. How long, O Lord, how long? Turn, O Lord, and deliver me. Save me because of your unfailing love. No one remembers you when he is dead. Who praises you from the grave? I am worn out from groaning. All night long I flood my bed with weeping and drench my couch with tears. My eyes grow weak with sorrow. They fail because of all my foes. Away from me, all you who do evil, for the Lord has heard my weeping. The Lord has heard my cry for mercy. The Lord accepts my prayer. All my enemies will be ashamed and dismayed. They will turn back in sudden disgrace.
She was sinners, Lord, be
then began to speak to them in parables. A man planted a vineyard. He built a wall around it. He dug a pit for the winepress and built a watchtower. Then he rented it to some farmers and went away on a journey. When the time came for the harvest, he sent a servant to the tenants to collect some of the fruit from the vineyard. But they beat him and sent him away empty-handed. So he sent another servant to them. This man they struck on the head and they treated him shamefully. He sent still another, and this one they killed. He sent many others. Some they beat, and some they killed. He had one left to send, a son whom he dearly loved. He sent him last of all, saying, "They will respect my son." But the tenants said to one another, "Look, here is the heir. Let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they took him, they killed him, and they threw him out of the vineyard. Now what will the owner of the vineyard do? He will come and kill these tenants and give the vineyard to others. Have you not read in the scripture, the stone the builder rejected has become the capstone? The Lord has done this, and it is marvelous in our eyes. The chief priests and the teachers of the law wanted to arrest Jesus and kill him, but they were afraid of the crowd, so they left him and went away.
Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger or discipline me in your wrath. Your arrows have pierced me, and your hand has come down on me. Because of your wrath, there is no health in my body. There is no soundness in my bones because of my sin. My guilt has overwhelmed me like a burden too heavy to bear. I am like the deaf who cannot hear, like the mute who cannot speak. I have become like one who does not hear, whose mouth can offer no reply. Lord, I wait for you. You will answer me, my God. Lord, do not forsake me. Do not be far from me, my God. Come quickly to help me, my Lord and my Savior.
first day of the festival of unleavened bread, when it was customary to sacrifice the Passover lamb. Jesus' disciples came to him and asked, "Where should we make preparations for you to eat the Passover?" So Jesus sent 2 of his disciples, telling them, "Go into the city. A man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. Say to the owner of the house he enters, 'The master asks, where is my guest room where I may eat the Passover with my disciples?' He will show you a large room upstairs, furnished and ready. Make preparations for us there." So the disciples left and went into the city and found things exactly as Jesus had said. So they prepared the Passover. When evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were sitting and reclining at the table eating, he said, "I tell you the truth. One of you will betray me, one who is eating with me." They were all saddened, and one after another began to ask, "Surely you don't mean me?" "It is one of the 12, he said, "one who dips his bread into the bowl with me. The Son of Man will go as it is written of him. But woe to that man who betrays the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had never been born." While they were eating, Jesus took the bread and he broke it. And after he'd given thanks, he gave it to his disciples, saying, "Take it. This is my body." And then he took the cup, and after he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank from it. "This is the blood of the covenant," he said, "which is poured out for many. I tell you the truth, I will not drink again from the fruit of the vine until that day when I drink it new in the kingdom of God."
O Lord, hear my prayer. Listen to my cry for mercy. In your faithfulness and righteousness, come to my relief. Do not bring your servant into judgment, for no one living is righteous before you. The enemy pursues me. He crushes me to the ground. He makes me dwell in darkness like those long dead. So my spirit grows faint within me. My heart within me is dismayed. I remember the days of long ago. I meditate on all your works and consider what your hands have done. I spread out my hands to you. My soul thirsts for you like a parched land. Answer me quickly, O Lord. My spirit fails. Do not hide your face from me, or I will be like those who go down to the pit. Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul. Rescue me from my enemies, O Lord, for I hide myself in you. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. May your good spirit lead me on level ground. For your name's sake, O Lord, preserve my life. In your righteousness, bring me out of trouble. In your unfailing love, silence my enemies, destroy all my foes. For I am your servant.
When they had sung a hymn, they went out to the Mount of Olives. "You will all fall away," he told them, "for it is written, 'I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep will be scattered.' But I will go ahead of you into Galilee after I have risen, and I will meet you there." Peter declared, "Even if all fall away, I will not." "I tell you the truth," Jesus answered. "Tonight, before the rooster crows twice, you yourself will disown me 3 times." But Peter insisted emphatically, "Even if I have to die with you, I will not disown you." And all the others said the same. They came to a place called Gethsemane. Jesus said to his disciples, "Sit here while I pray." Taking Peter, James, and John along with him, he began to be deeply distressed and troubled. "My soul is overwhelmed with sorrow to the point of death," he told them. "Stay here and keep watch." Going on a little farther, he fell to the ground and prayed that if possible the hour might pass from him. "Abba, Father, everything is possible with you. Take this cup from me. Yet not what I will, but what you will." Returning, he found his disciples sleeping. "Simon," he said to Peter, "are you asleep? Could you not keep watch for 1 hour? Watch and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak." Going away once more, he again prayed the same thing. When he came back, he again found them sleeping, for their eyes were very heavy. They didn't know what to say to him. Returning a 3rd time, he said to them, "Are you still sleeping and resting? Enough! The hour is at hand. The Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. Rise, let us go. My betrayer is at hand." When he finished speaking, Judas, one of the 12, appeared. With him was a large crowd armed with swords and clubs, sent by the chief priests and the elders and the teachers of the law. Now the betrayer had arranged a sign with them. "The one I kiss is the man. Arrest him and lead him away under guard." Going at once to Jesus, Judas said, "Rabbi," and then he kissed him. The men seized Jesus and arrested him. One of those standing nearby drew his sword and struck the servant of the high priest, cutting off his ear. "Am I leading a rebellion," Jesus said, "that you come out with swords and clubs to arrest me? Every day I was with you teaching in the temple courts, and yet you did not arrest me. But the scriptures must be fulfilled." Then everyone deserted him and fled.
Out of the depths I cry to you, O Lord.
O Lord, hear my voice. Let your ears be attentive to my cry for mercy. If you, O Lord, kept a record of sins, O Lord, who could stand? But with you there is forgiveness, therefore you are feared. I wait for the Lord. My soul waits, and in his word I put my soul waits for the Lord more than the watchmen wait for the morning. More than the watchmen wait for the morning. O Israel, put your hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is unfailing love, and with him is full redemption. The Lord himself will redeem Israel from their sins.
They took Jesus to the high priest. And all the chief priests, the elders, and the teachers of the law came together. Peter followed him from a distance, right into the courtyard of the high priest. There he sat down with the guards, warming himself at the fire. Now the chief priests and the whole Sanhedrin were looking for evidence against Jesus so they could put him to death. But they didn't find any. Many stood up and gave false testimony against him, but their statements did not agree. Then some stood up and gave this false testimony against him. I heard him say, I will destroy this man-made temple, and in 3 days will build another, not made by man. But even then, their testimony did not agree. So the high priest stood up in front of them all and asked Jesus, are you not going to answer? What is this testimony these men are bringing against you? But Jesus remained silent and gave no reply. So the high priest asked him again, are you the Christ, the Son of the Blessed One? I am, said Jesus, and you will see the Son of Man seated at the right hand of the Mighty One, coming down on the clouds of heaven. The high priest tore his clothes. Why do we need any more witnesses, he asked. You have heard the blasphemy. What do you think? And they all condemned him as worthy of death. Then some began to spit on him, and they blindfolded him and struck him with their fists, saying, prophesy. And the guards took him and beat him. Meanwhile, Peter was down below in the courtyard. One of the servant girls of the high priest came by, and when she saw Peter warming himself, she looked at him more closely and said, you also were with that Nazarene Jesus. But Peter denied it. I do not know or understand what you are talking about, he said. And he went out into the entryway. When the servant girl saw him there, she said to those standing around, this fellow is one of them. And again, he denied it. After a little while, some of those standing near said, surely you are one of them, since you're a Galilean. But Peter called down curses on himself and swore to them, I do not know this man you are talking about. Immediately, the rooster crowed the second time, and Peter remembered the word that Jesus had spoken to him. Before the rooster crows twice, you will disown me 3 times. And he broke down and wept.
Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one whose sin the Lord does not count against them, and in whose spirit is no deceit. When I kept silent about my sins, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy on me. My strength was sapped as in the heat of summer. Then I acknowledged my sin to you, and you did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Therefore, let all the faithful pray to you while you may be found. Surely the rising of the mighty waters will not reach them. You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye.
Do not be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. Many are the woes of the wicked, but the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts in him. Rejoice in the Lord and be glad, you righteous. Sing, all you who are upright in heart.
Very early in the morning, the chief priests, the teachers of the law, the elders, and the whole Sanhedrin made their plans. They bound Jesus, they led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of the Jews?" "You have said so," Jesus replied. The chief priests accused him of many things. So Pilate asked him again, "Are you not going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of?" But Jesus still gave no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Now it was a custom of the festival to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man named Barabbas was in prison with the insurrectionists who had committed murder in the uprising. The crowd came to Pilate and asked him to do for them what he usually did. "Do you want me to release to you the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. For he knew it was out of self-interest the chief priest had turned Jesus over to him. But the chief priest stirred up the crowd to have Pilate release Barabbas instead. "What then shall I do with the one you call the king of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him!" they shouted. "Why? What crime has he committed?" Pilate asked. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him!" Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified.
Have mercy on me, O God, according to your unfailing love. According to your great compassion, blot out my transgressions and wash away all my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is always before me. Against you, you only have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight, so that you are proved right when you speak and justified when you judge. Surely I was sinful at birth, sinful from the time my mother conceived me. Surely you desire truth in the inner parts. You teach me wisdom in the inmost place. Cleanse me with hyssop, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Let the bones you have crushed rejoice. Hide your face from my sins, and blot out all my iniquity. Create in me a pure heart, O God, and renew a steadfast spirit within me. Do not cast me from your presence, or take your Holy Spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and grant me a willing spirit to sustain me. Then I will teach transgressors your ways, and sinners will turn back to you. Save me from blood guilt, O God, the God who saves me, and my tongue will sing of your righteousness. Open my lips, O Lord, and my mouth will declare your praise. You do not delight in sacrifice, or I would bring it. You do not take pleasure in burnt offerings. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart. O God, you will not despise. In your good pleasure, make Zion prosper. Build up the walls of Jerusalem. Then there will be righteous sacrifices, whole burnt offerings to delight you. Then bulls will be offered on your altar.
a certain man from Cyrene, Simon, father of Rufus and Alexander, was passing by on his way in from the country, and they forced him to carry the cross. They took Jesus to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of the skull. Then they offered him wine mixed with myrrh, but he did not take it. And they crucified him. Dividing up his clothes, they cast lots to see what each would get. It was about the third hour when they crucified Jesus, and the written notice of the charge against him read, "The King of the Jews." They crucified 2 robbers with him, one on his right and one on his left. Those passing by hurled insults at him, shaking their heads and saying, "You who would destroy the temple, come down from the cross and save yourself." In the same way, the chief priests and the teachers of the law mocked him among themselves. He saved others, but he cannot save himself. Let this Christ, this King of Israel, come down now from the cross so that we might see and believe. Those being crucified also heaped insults on him. At about the 6th hour, darkness came over the entire land until the 9th hour. The 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," which means, my God, why have you forsaken me?" When some of those standing near heard this, they said, "Listen, he's calling out to Elijah." One man ran, filled a sponge with wine vinegar, put it on a stick, and offered it to Jesus. "Now, leave him alone," he said. "Let's see if Elijah comes to take him down." With a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain in the temple was torn in 2 from top to bottom. And when the centurion who stood in front of Jesus heard his cry and saw how he died, he said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me? So far from the words of my groaning? Do not be far from me, for trouble is near and there is no one to help. Many bulls surround me. Strong bulls of Bashan encircle me. Roaring lions, tearing their prey, open their mouths wide against me. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax. It has melted away within me. My strength is dried up like a potsherd, and my tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You lay me in the dust of death. Dogs have surrounded me. A band of evil men has encircled me. They have pierced my hands and my feet. I can count all my bones. People stare and gloat over me. They divide my garments among them and cast lots for my clothing. But you, O Lord, be not far off. O my strength, come quickly to help me.
trees, it was for me, O Lord, when you cried upon your knees. How could it be, O Lord, when in blood and sweat and tears you dismissed your final fears, when you faced the soldier's spears, you stood for me, O Lord.
has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. Like one from whom men hide their faces, he was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he took up our infirmities and carried our sorrows. Yet we considered him stricken by God, smitten by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to his own way. But the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. And who can speak of his descendants? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he was stricken. He was assigned a grave with the wicked and with the rich in his stead. Though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him and cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life a guilt offering, he will see his offspring and prolong his days. And the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After the suffering of his soul, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities.
Oh